Welcome to the MBU Baseball Coaches Show with the Hall of Fame coach, Eddie Ushold, and I am Guy Danoff. We want to welcome you to today's show. We'll bring in the coach right now. Coach, I got to say, how are you doing, my friend? Because the Spartans are playing some baseball.
It's exciting. The weather's been beyond being get out of baseball. I think it's just kind of energized everybody on campus, just good weather. And we get weather like this in spurts in the spring, but not the extended weather we've had. And now we're going to have this till the end of next week. So it's kind of interesting. We come out of a blizzard, and now we've got the best weather we've had for an extended period of time at Missouri Baptist that I can remember. So that's exciting. I think there's just a lot of neat things. It's just going around campus, getting in here early this morning. You see people out in the quad messing around, playing. You see buses traveling. We got games going on. And I think people are kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. We're kind of coming out of this thing, and I think people are getting excited.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Spartan Baseball, because I know that's why you're here. The Spartans are off to 4-3 record. You started the season 3-0, though. Very impressive against Oklahoma City University, York College out of Nebraska, as well as Tabor College. And in two of those games, you scored double-digit runs. So I was wondering if you could maybe give us a quick recap on those first three games.
Yeah, we came out the gate well. That started with Mason Palmiere just pitching very well against a very good Oklahoma City team and just really giving us a chance. He kind of scuffled in the first inning a little bit and held it to a run. And then we were fortunate. We blew up and scored 6 runs against their best guy. And so and then Mason just settled down and kept going and just pitched really well. Second game, we got another great outing from Billy Heel. And we're able to scratch a run across in the 5th and a run across in the 7th and win the game. And Tabor is a very talented team. And we were just fortunate to jump out and put a big lead up, and we're able to hold on to that. Concordia was a very, very good team. And they just threw some really good arms at us. We played a really long game against Tabor, and I think might have affected us a little bit in that game. But, if you look at our schedule, everybody we've played is very good. And if you'd asked me before it all started, 7 games in 6 days, we go 4-3, you'd be kind of happy. But after going 3-1, and you would have liked to have been, 5-2 or maybe 6-1. But Baker came in. They're very good. They played extremely well, very well coached. And we just weren't able. We were a couple hits short, couldn't make a pitch when we needed it. So they took 2 out of 3 from us. But, this weekend's a big weekend for us. And I like where we're at right now. But these next 2 weekends, we've got a lot of ranked teams that we're playing. And I think we're going to find out who we are.
So, Coach, with that, I want to talk about some of the Spartan standouts. For me right now, looking at the team, it is very clear that you have Mason Palmiere as clearly a number one. Just doing a fantastic job. I was wondering if maybe you could talk about his performance thus far.
Well, Mason's a local guy. He's been here 3 years, and he's actually got another year because of COVID if he wants it next year. And just really worked hard. And he was a Division I starter coming out of JUCO and just wasn't able to get into the school that wanted to sign him. And his grades are not bad. He just wasn't able to get in. And he came here, slowly progressed, and everything's kind of clicking for him now. And he's sitting 88 to 91, touching 92 every once in a while. A lot of confidence and just pitching really well. He goes out that first game right now, and he's on full rest this weekend. He's going tomorrow against Central Methodist, and he'll be on a full week's rest. Last Saturday, he threw great against Baker. We just kept him to 50 or 60 pitches. We, kind of went back and forth on how to go about that, but just want to be smart with him. And he's been outstanding. Outstanding. And along with Billy Heel, and this past weekend against Baker, we were not able to throw Matt Hess, or we weren't able to throw Caleb Miley, who are both upper 80s, touching 90 here and there, and they can pitch, and they've been with us for a while. And we just wanted to rest them because they threw on Tuesday. We didn't even want to think about it. So Matt's getting a start today, Matt Hess, and then Caleb Miley is going to throw sometime during this weekend. So we feel a lot better going to this weekend because our pitching's kind of lined up a little bit more. But Mason is definitely, in my opinion, he's an ace for a top 20 team, and then he's probably one of the better guys in the country. And I think as this goes on, people are going to start to realize who Mason Palmiere is.
Absolutely. And the other thing, so now let's flip to the offensive side. And as to no surprise to Spartan fans, Stuffler just continues to just hit the ball, and he's batting .385 with a .414 on base percentage. And Carter Mize, I mean, coach, .444 with a .522 on base, and last but not least, DJ Schmidt at .364 with a .462 on base. Those are some very good numbers, and I was wondering if you could comment on those three Spartans.
Well, and those guys are all returning. You know, if you remember, DJ was a redshirt freshman basically last year, and he worked him in and out. When the pandemic hit, or when we stopped playing, he was our leadoff hitter, and he was the toughest out in our lineup. And Carter was a kid we recruited 3 years ago, and Carter's finally being really aggressive at the plate. I mean, and Carter will tell you this. The issue with Carter was he was like, okay, strike one, okay, strike two, and then he was taking good pitches, and now he's not doing it anymore. He's seeing that first pitch he likes. He's jumping on it, and even when he's making outs, he's making hard outs. And I would argue that Trey, and the numbers aren't jumping out at you, but Kyle O'Brien is going to be one of the better hitters in the country also. And Trey is probably one of the best hitters in the country. To be quite honest with you, he didn't have the weekend he wanted to have against Baker. He'll tell you that, and he's still hitting whatever he's hitting, 385, and Trey's just a hard out. I mean, we just got a very balanced lineup, and depending on who we're hitting where, we still haven't quite figured out who's going to be our leadoff hitter yet. We're still kind of trying to figure that out. And so Trey, we're going to give Trey a shot at it this week and see what happens with that. And, we can – and I really like DJ. DJ's done a good job in the leadoff spot, but I love him in the 9-hole. I love hitting him down there, and I think that's a good place for him. And we're trying to work all these things out. And we know I think we got a pretty good idea of who our core guys are. We're just trying to figure out where they're going to be in the lineup, because Carter and Trey and DJ have all came out of the gate well. I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, Luis is catching 2 out of 3 games, and he's hitting the ball well. Luis Tahia and Manny Garcia is just a game changer for us at shortstop. I mean, he's going to make every play, and he's going to make plays you don't expect him to make. I mean, that was something, and this isn't a knock against anybody, but that was just something we didn't have last year. And Manny is a top-end shortstop for us, and he just changes the whole complexion of the game. And he's going to put together good at-bats. And, and Adrian Gutierrez has hit some balls hard. And if you remember him from last year, he just hasn't really gotten it going yet. He'll get it going, and he was hitting the 4-hole for us last year. So we really like what we got out there, and sprinkling some other guys that are still trying to figure some things out, like Tommy Patrick and Noah Hemphill. Those guys we're trying to figure out where they fit in and how it's all going to work with these guys. So it's a good problem to have in one sense, because we have a lot of depth positionally. And definitely those guys have come out the gate well. And compared to 2 years ago, we could throw a lineup out there with 5 or 6 left-handed hitters in the lineup. And where 2 years ago we had one left-handed hitter. And so we just got a lot of versatility. And those guys are coming out the gate well. We're trying to figure out exactly what our lineup is going to be. We're still not set on who's going to be where and what's going to happen. We've only played 7 games, and so we're still trying to figure that out. But it's a little bit more of a crunch time this year because, the AMC has cut us back to 44 games, so it's making it it's a little more difficult to make happen because we can't play as many games as we want to play.
Absolutely. So with that, let's move forward. This is a big weekend here at certainly Missouri Baptist University. Obviously, we're playing host to the Clay Pfeiffer Memorial Tournament. Coach, just for those Spartans that may not know the story, could you maybe go into the background and the backstory of why this tournament even exists?
Yeah, we try to do this every year. We probably get it about every other year. And now with the conference schedule going back a little bit, we're able to move it back into March, which gives us a better shot. So in the past, we were hit and miss on in February whether we're going to get it in or not. And Clay was a freshman on our 2012 team. He was traveling with the team. He hadn't started playing yet, and we had talked about whether he was going to redshirt, what we were going to do with him. And it was, I think, third week in February, and it was a Tuesday, and he was going home from school back to his apartment and just sitting at a light. Somebody coming the other way, car went across the median, clicked the car in front of him, and hit him square on. And the doctors tell us that Clay passed away instantly. And so he passed away. We canceled all our stuff that week, and we had a great season that year, and nobody wore number 4 for a while. So we're really particular about who wears that number. One of his former teammates that he was young and he went to high school with, and he played college here with us, was Brandon Schlichtig. And Brandon was the first one to wear that since Clay wore it. And then now we got Hunter Hill has worn it for the last 3 years. And so we're just trying to honor Clay. We can't do as much stuff as we usually do because we'll have a banquet and some other things that we're just not able to do right now. But his father is going to be at game 1 today of the tournament. He's going to throw out a memorial first pitch. His father's Dan Chinichi, and he will throw out the first pitch today. And the whole weekend is just to honor Clay. And now there's not as many things we can physically do this year because of the banquet. We can't do that and some other things. But the tournament's in honor of Clay and CP4. That's kind of his thing. Clay Pfeiffer, number 4.
Absolutely. And Coach, just touch on how it's really brought the teams together at that banquet, though. Yeah. There's actually been some sharing of testimony.
Yeah.
And, some prayer. I just wonder if maybe you could speak just a little bit to that, because I can remember Dylan Harp getting a chance to speak and share his testimony a few years ago, and how it turned him around, really, where he was finishing his career and then obviously, moving forward, past MBU. So just touch a little bit about that, because I think it's really a very interesting dynamic that this tournament brings.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we're not able to do that this year, because what we do is we bring them all together and we feed them, have a nice big banquet laid out, and we have multiple different speakers. I've had former players, I've had current players, I've had Andy Bennis has come, Ricky Horton's come, Jason Simontachi's come and talked for me. We've had major leaguers come and speak, and I've had former players who are ministers now come and speak. And there's been a lot of camaraderie and maybe I don't want to over spiritualize it, but people really kind of thinking about where they're at, because baseball's great. Love baseball. We're going to compete. I think we're having a great season, but it's really about these guys growing as young men. And it's ultimately about these guys having a relationship with Jesus. And that's what we try to present to them. And unfortunately what happened with Clay, but it's just an example that we're not promised tomorrow. I mean, you and I, we're not promised tomorrow. So we kind of try to do that, and you try to do it in a sensitive way, but we're not promised tomorrow. So basically, where are you at with Jesus? And that's what the banquet is about a lot. And it gets kids thinking a lot. And we've had multiple conversations after the banquet with a lot of different student athletes from other universities, which has been cool. And even with coaches from other universities. So it's a cool thing. It's disappointing we're not able to do it this year, but hopefully we'll be able to have the banquet next year.
Absolutely. With that, let's talk about the tournament. Talk about the Spartan schedule coming up over the weekend, and then any information for fans that want to come out. Yeah,
we are currently, there's 4 teams, and we've got it breaking down into 3 days. And we're playing Peru State today at 2:00 in 1 9-inning game. And then tomorrow there'll be 3 games. Peru will play Indiana Tech, who's coming in from Fort Wayne. Indiana Tech, I think, is ranked number 11 or 14. I'm not sure. And great coach Kip's done a great job up there. They're rough out the gate, but they've played 2 of the better teams in the country. Mm-hmm. They've played Tennessee Wesleyan, who's arguably the best team in the country right now, and they've played Taylor University, who's very, very good. And so they've come out of the gate a little slow, but they're going to be a very good team. And they'll play Peru State at 10:00 tomorrow. Then we'll play Indiana Tech after that game, scheduled at 12:30, hopefully. And then after that game, Central Methodist, who's ranked number 10 in the country, they're coming in, and we'll play Central Methodist hopefully by 3:00. And the hope is we get these games in, we get them done, and maybe I can sneak over and see the second half of the football game. But and then on Sunday, Central Methodist and Indiana Tech are going to play a doubleheader, and we're hosting them. So they'll play a doubleheader starting at 11:00.
That's very exciting, Coach. And weather's going to be nice. I know it's going to be in the 50s.
Yeah, it's going to be in the 50s. A little chilly out there this morning when I was working on the field, but it's going to be in the 50s by game time. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit warmer, and then Sunday's going to be in the low 60s. So it's going to be a beautiful weekend. The field's in pretty good shape. We're ready to go. We're looking forward to it.
Sunshine all 3 days. That's what the forecast is showing.
All 3 days, all the way. We don't have any rain in the forecast till next Thursday or Friday. So, and then next weekend we have Northwestern Ohio, who is a very, very good team also. We're going up there, and I don't think we're going to have any problems. Probably a little colder, but they have turf, so I haven't spoken with them yet. But there's a lot of rain in the forecast next weekend.
Gotcha.
We'll see how that plays out. But they have so.
All right, Coach, I want to wish you all the best this weekend. It's certainly going to be a great weekend of Spartan baseball, and certainly we want to, honor, Clay Pfeiffer and his dad also for coming out again, Coach. it just goes to show really what the fabric of Spartan athletics is all about, as well as Spartan baseball. And I know that starts at the top with the leadership, from Dr. Smith on down. And I just think it's a fantastic tournament, as it has been. And Coach, I just want to wish you all the best. And Spartan fans, we want to thank you for watching right here on the Spartan Digital Network with the Hall of Fame coach, Eddie Oshold. I am Guy Danhoff.
Thanks, Guy. Appreciate it.